How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious, Rant with Burn and Rye. Oh man, I haven't been this excited to do a review in a minute, given we're still early in the year, but this is just one of those movies that once you watch it, you just want to tell everybody about it. Like, I want to go scream to a mountaintop and say, go watch this movie! And if you haven't guessed it, we're talking about the latest Ryan Gosling helmed picture, which is Project Hail Mary, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. I believe I got that right. And it was also, fun fact, it's a novel adaptation from the book by Andy Weir. I hope I'm saying that right. Who also did the book The Martian, which was also a film like already 10 years ago, which is insane to think that it's been that long. Like 11 years. I think it came out like 2015. But anyways, this is a spoiler-free review just because you all definitely need to see this. And so we're not going to get super into it, but if you happen to like the movie and you just like tuning in every week for me and Burn, feel free to show us your support with that thumbs up. You know, give us a like, ring the bell for notifications, and also just subscribe. Just press it and join the ranting community. Why don't you? So, and this is one of those movies, sometimes it's the movies that I don't really look forward to, and I'm like, man, they completely blew me away, just because the trailers, I thought, okay, cool, like a sci-fi movie, will it be good? Is it just going to be like maybe family-friendly sci-fi, which isn't a bad thing, but sometimes it's kind of nice when we have more mature stuff like this, The Martian, or like the Dune movies. I would definitely, different class of sci-fi, but still. And this one where Ryan Gosling plays a character, Ryland Grace, which is funny. That's a cool name, but it's just Ryland. And he is gets thrown into he wakes up on a spaceship, doesn't really remember everything about himself, but as he's grabbing he's getting his memory back, he realizes he has to find out what is killing the stars in the galaxy to save Earth. And in doing so, he meets an extraterrestrial who also has the same mission, which is he's like a little rock creature, kind of like from Galaxy Quest, if you guys ever saw that one and remember it. That's the best comparison I could think of. And that character's name, of course, is Rocky, just because it's adorable, and it makes more sense when you watch the movie. But yeah, I really didn't have much going into this, to be honest. I had little expectations because I don't know what's going to be like. No shame to the directors or Ryan Gosling or anything. I'm just like, okay, cool. But wow, what a movie. I can't praise this one enough. Like 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, this is another one of my favorite movies of the year. But before I get too giddy about it and start speaking nonsense, Burn, what did you think about this one? Same thing. Did you have any expectations going into it? Did you also know that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were directing it? Because I did not realize it till after the fact, not going to lie.
I mean, I knew about it, but it wasn't like a movie that I would say was also really like on my radar. I knew it was coming out, from the marketing that had been going on. I had not really seen a lot of the trailers. I think I'd only watched the TV spot that played every 5 minutes during the Super Bowl. So, I was like, okay, cool. I'm seeing the same things over again. I'm already going to watch it because, we do what we do. And it's like, I like seeing movies that Ryan Gosling is in. Usually they're like he's pretty solid. And like, if he's starring in it, it's going to be like decent at the least. So coming closer to release date, it's like, okay, Phil Lord and Chris Miller are doing this. It's based off of a book by Andy Weir, like The Martian. Drew Goddard was adapting the screenplay, much like he did for The Martian adaptation. And Greg Fraser was going to be the cinematographer. These were all things that I found out like only like a few days before actually watching the movie. So that definitely got me anticipating it, and also the really good word of mouth. And I get to say, all those things coming together, who knows? You get a lot of people that are really good at making movies. You get a really good movie. And that's what we got here. I'm glad to say that because, man, this movie was one that just came out of left field and really took me by surprise. And I had a great time with it. Ryan Gosling is great here. He effectively is kind of like the only character we see for a very long time, and like we've talked about it in the past, that's kind of a really hard thing to do when you're just like it's just you and you have to sell a lot of these things that are happening. In particular, this movie where he's in space, he's on a set probably by himself with the puppeteers going on here, so he has to make this all feel real and believable, and he does a really great job of it. I thought the character of Ryland Grace was very interesting, and it was fun to also sort of find out who he was as a person as he is also finding out. So that was a really fun mechanism that they did in the screenplay. The visual effects here are absolutely fantastic. I know they try to do a lot of things practical in this movie, and I think it really shows. It really makes you feel like that these are like tangible things. I know the book's kind of like based on like hard science, much like The Martian was. But for like people like me, it's like who aren't as invested or like aren't really aware of a lot of the different scientific things, considering like space and space travel and all those things. Like the movie fed it to me in a way much like The Martian did, that it was easily digestible, and the visuals definitely helped with that. I think Phil Lord and Chris Miller are just. I was texting you the other day and telling you like these guys need to be like in the discussions for directors who should be like up on the high list of like all the things that they've because of all the things that they've done. This movie, the other animated movies that they've done, like the Lego movies, the Spider-Verse movies, and they just keep pumping out really great stuff. Two comedy classics and the Jump Street movies, and they put everything that they've done well in those movies in here, where they really focus in on the characters. The comedy hits, and all the visuals are interesting. They're just doing a lot of really great stuff here, and them getting Greg Fraser to shoot this movie, who's incredible. From everything from the two Dune movies to the Batman. The visuals here are just absolutely fantastic. I wonder if they've shot on film. The movie had a really nice grainy quality to it, and I don't know if you saw it in IMAX or not, but the playing around with the ratios and stuff was really cool too. So it's just a bunch of things that I feel like were tailor made for me. Daniel Pemberton did the score for this movie, and I've loved a lot of his scores for the last few movies that he's done, in particular the Spider-Verse movies. Again, I will always say that I love the King Arthur, the Legend of the Sword. Score from way back in the day. This guy's just been putting out really great music. So yeah, just all these really cool things that feel like, again, tailor made for me. I really enjoyed this movie because of all those reasons.
Yeah, you're definitely spot on about everything we're talking about, especially the visuals. They were, especially some of the scenes in space when he's doing like the spacewalks himself. It's like, wow, you really get thrown back into it. I think what I really enjoyed the most with this one was just Ryan Gosling's performance, and then however they did the animation and puppeteering for Rocky was just phenomenal. For a character that has no face to it, they really they milked all the movements out of him to really make you feel like this is a true living, breathing character. And again, Ryan Gosling is just one of my favorite actors growing up. Ever since I saw him in remember the Titans, and I don't know if you ever heard of the show, but Young Hercules. He was Young Hercules himself. It was an old Fox Kids show, but so it's great to see how his career really came out. And I think this is his best performance. In all honesty, I would put it up there as one of them. Haven't seen all his movies, I'm not gonna lie, but I would say the last third of this movie, like at least the last hour or so, just constant waterworks, man. I'm not ashamed to admit it because it was just so good. This movie really knew how to really just capture all the emotions. While I do appreciate The Martian and how much more grounded and scientific it was, I felt like you can kind of pick up the science more. It's more of just the story that I think really gets it. And with everything you just said and how much I love this movie, every time I talk about it, my heart beats faster. I'm giving this a hard 5 out of 5. I did not see it in IMAX, just to answer your previous question. I saw it in Dolby, so the colors were super rich and stuff. But this movie deserves a rewatch, so I'm definitely going to go see it in IMAX. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, IMAX is definitely the way to go, or a premium format if you can swing it and stuff like that, just because this is one of those movies you do not want to miss out on. I think right now it could be on my top 10 for the year. We'll have to see how the rest of the year plays out, especially after this week's Dune Part 3 trailer and then Spider-Man A New Beginning, because those are pretty great. But yeah, 5 out of 5 for me. Highly recommend those. Please go see this. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned just the emotionality of this movie, because yeah, all those things I listed are great in terms of all the technical aspects, but you're right in pointing out that it's the emotional core at the center of this movie that really ties everything together. The camaraderie between Grace and Rocky really gives this whole thing like a beautiful soul. And I was telling you that this movie is an incredibly beautiful movie, but not just in terms of like the technical aspects, but in the story between these two characters and the way that they connect with each other, and just, you know, Ryan's performance and James Ortiz's performance, who plays Rocky. He was the puppeteer on this, and he lent his voice to the character based on like just how well he and Ryan Gosling got along on set, and I think that really shows through in the final product. I think you really believe that these two characters by the end of the movie care as much for each other as they do. And that just like, again, you can have all these really cool things that are happening all around them, but if the character story at the center of the movie, it doesn't work, then this whole thing doesn't work. And I'm so glad that it does, because yeah, it just brings everything together. Yeah, when it gets to the emotional aspects of it, this movie does definitely hit. My only gripe, I think I would say, it's a very, very small nitpick, but I would say that maybe like in the third act, there are probably one or two too many beats at the end of the movie. It feels like they were doing a lot at the end there, but because of everything else, that really just doesn't come into the effect on my final score, which is a 5 out of 5. I think this is definitely one of my favorite movies of the year so far, up there with 28 Years Later. Highly recommended to anybody and everybody who wants to just go to the movies and experience something that they can't from anything on the small screen. This is a true great adventure, like space adventure movie, and we don't really get a lot of those. And this one is just one that feels really special. So yeah, definitely go check it out as soon as you can.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely 100%. And the other thing, too, is how The Martian had a very stacked cast. Not to say that the rest of the cast, aside from Ryan, were, like, not talented or well-known, but they're definitely more on,
Sandra
like...
Huller. I need to shout her out as
Yeah.
Eve Strat in this movie. She's great. I've only seen her in a couple of other things, but she was really good here. Definitely shout out to her.
I just love her deadpan delivery with almost everything. It added to the humor and to the gravity of the situation.
Yeah,
like
another perfect foil for Ryan Gosling's character to bounce off.
Oh yeah, he bounced off of it. Like he knew how to roll with it. So I just like that the cast is more grounded. Like we had the guy, one of the guys from The Bear. We had Milana Vayntrub, who's been in all kinds of stuff, or the AT&T girl, as all of you would know her. But yeah, like I said, so 5 out of 5 for both me and Byrne. We can't recommend this enough. We'll have to see if it makes our top 10 list by the end of the year. But as always, until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.